What if the most powerful thing you will ever give the world is something you've been trying to hide your entire life? Not your success, not your achievements, not the version of you that looks strong on the outside, but the story you almost never tell, the one you replay alone in your head late at night, the one you silence because you think it makes you weak. Right now, somewhere in the world, someone is sitting with the same pain you once carried, wondering if they're broken beyond repair. And without knowing it, they're waiting for proof that survival is possible.
This message matters because we live in a world where everyone is speaking, yet so few are truly being heard. We scroll past lives, achievements, smiles, and celebrations, but behind the screens, people are quietly struggling to survive their own thoughts. This message is for those who feel invisible in a loud world, for those who believe their pain doesn't qualify, for those who were taught to be strong instead of being honest. It speaks to the ones who think their story ended the moment things fell apart, to the ones who believe their past disqualifies them from being seen, respected, or
There were moments in your life when you didn't feel strong at all. Moments when you questioned your choices, your worth, your future. Moments when you stayed in places that drained you because leaving felt scarier than staying. Moments when you trusted people who hurt you or gave up on yourself because the weight became too heavy. You remember the nights when the world went quiet but your thoughts refused to stop. The mornings when getting out of bed felt like a victory no one noticed. You learned how to function, how to smile when people asked if you were okay, how to say, "I'm fine," without even thinking about it. You became good at surviving silently. And over time, you convinced yourself that what you went through wasn't important enough to share, that other people had it worse, that your pain didn't deserve space. Inside you, an internal conflict grew stronger. One voice kept telling you to speak, to be honest, to let the truth breathe. Another voice warned you to stay quiet, to protect yourself, to avoid judgment, misunderstanding, rejection. So you stayed silent. You minimized your experiences. You locked parts of yourself away. But locked stories don't disappear. They show up in hesitation, in fear, in self-doubt. They show up in the feeling that you're meant for more, but you don't know why. Here's the deeper truth most people never realize. Stories don't change the world because they're perfect. They change the world because they're real. People don't connect to perfection, they connect to honesty. When you share your truth, you create a mirror. Someone sees their own pain reflected in your words. Their shame softens, their isolation cracks open, and for the first time in a long time, they feel understood. Your story isn't meant to impress, it's meant to connect. It doesn't need a happy ending to be powerful. It doesn't need lessons wrapped in perfection. Sometimes the most powerful sentence you can say is, "This hurt me, and I'm still here." That sentence carries strength no achievement ever could. Stories remind people they're not broken, that struggling doesn't mean failing, that survival itself is an act of courage. When you speak your truth, you don't just give others permission to feel, you give yourself permission to heal. Because healing doesn't always happen in silence. Often, it begins the moment someone finally listens. There comes a quiet moment, not dramatic, not loud, when something inside you shifts. You realize your story doesn't belong only to you anymore, that the pain you endured wasn't meaningless, that the nights you survived weren't wasted, that what almost broke you might be the very thing that keeps someone else alive. In that moment, fear starts to lose its power. You stop asking, "What if they judge me?" and start asking, "What if this helps someone?" You understand that being vulnerable isn't weakness, it's bravery. That sharing your story isn't reopening wounds, it's letting air reach them. You realize that you don't need to be fully healed to speak. You don't need to have everything figured out. Because sometimes healing doesn't come before sharing. Sometimes it comes because of it. And that realization changes everything. The world needs your story, not because it's extraordinary, but because it's honest. Because somewhere out there is someone who thinks they're alone in their pain. Someone who believes they're too broken to keep going. Someone searching for proof that survival is possible. And you, exactly as you are, might be that proof. So don't bury the chapters that shaped you. Don't silence the experiences that taught you how to endure. Speak them, write them, share them in whatever way feels true to you. Because when you tell your story, you don't just reclaim your past,